forum.
Okay,
And I can hear everyone great.
thank you, Brianna. Well, I guess I'm chairing since Nick's not here.
Yeah,
Um,
and no, and Kelly's still abroad.
Kelly was a maybe, so maybe she will come in and maybe she won't. She is still abroad, and so she wasn't sure about being able to come in. Okay. So I'm going to call this meeting to order November 14th, the GBOS work session on the HLB 2026 work plan and the 2027-2031 management plan. Girdwood Board of Supervisors, subject to the Alaska Open Meetings Act, is found in Alaska Statute 44.62.310 and Alaska and Anchorage Municipal Code 1.25-public meetings. My name is Jennifer Wingard. I'm co-chair. And Brian, would you like to be the land admin?
Of course I would. That's why I went back and got a quick
Thank you.
agenda, so I didn't have to try and read it from the screen right there.
Thank you.
So the Girdwood Board of Supervisors acknowledges the indigenous peoples of Alaska whose land we reside on. The community of Girdwood, situated between the areas known to be Dena'ina and Inuktitut homeland, respects the people who are stewards of this land for generations. We commit to the continued stewardship of this land and are grateful to be a part of a wider community that seeks to maintain a sustainable use of Girdwood Valley for present and future peoples.
Gal, would you mind running the roll call?
Sure. Brianna Sullivan,
Present.
Brian Burnett,
Present.
Jennifer Wingard,
Present.
and Mike and Kelly are excused absence.
Okay. I will, for the agenda, I could take a motion, move to approve.
I move to approve the agenda as put forward today.
I will second.
Right. Any objections or discussions, or we can just go by consensus on this?
I have a discussion point really fast.
Sure.
I'd like to amend if the board agrees to add a number 5 really quick on the CWPP, the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. And just to bring it up for discussion.
Okay. CWPB. So that is a motion.
Yes, to amend.
And that is a new business motion and
Right. That would be under new business, essentially, right? Well, we're not voting. If this is a work
yeah,
session.
this is a work session.
Oh, it's a work
So, yes,
session.
I will second that. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's fine to add that. I'm going to call that consensus too. I have one thing. I don't know if it counts as an agenda. I would like to add to the beginning of the agenda that I just double check with the other people in the room for the items that they're interested in speaking to. If that's okay with the board, rather than waiting until we get to it on the agenda. Is that all right with you too, Brianna? And you?
Like the work plans comments, basically.
Yeah, I'm just curious on which section of the work plan we have people in the room interested in speaking to.
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that being said, let's see, we start with project overview and then work plan. So yeah, I would like to check in, since Connie, you got here first, could I check in with you? Was there a specific item or section of the work plan? That
No, not at all.
Okay, all right.
Just plain to be written.
All right, thank you. Okay, and Amanda, was there a specific?
No, I've got some general overall items with a couple specific items, but I think we can sum it up in one kind of issue.
So you're happy to go along when we get to it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right. So let's start with project overview.
I don't know what this one is, but
Okay, I think we're just introducing like,
Yes.
this is the work plan.
I think that, the reminder today is that you guys are in a work session, and this is a chance to generate comments that you can approve at the GBOS meeting on Monday. So basically, the goal today is to do a lot of the heavy lifting, because GBOS meetings can be pretty lengthy with other topics. So coming into the meeting with more of a list there.
Okay, and then I believe the way that we have handled this before is just kind of scrolling through it.
Correct. Yep, or if anybody has specific comments related to it, we can go right to that. Mike wasn't able to be here today, but he did provide specific comments according to different projects within the work plan that we're working on. Well, however you like to go.
Okay, and
Did he, oh, could I ask a
this
question?
piece of paper here, is that his comments?
Yeah, I think it might be here in the packet.
Okay,
We got it.
May I ask a question really?
sure.
Did he submit anything, the project overview?
No, he was specific on the, here's his input right here.
Okay, great. And I don't have any edits for the project overview if anyone needs to check on number 1 on that.
All right, let's do it this way. Do we have any comments on, let's see, the project overview takes us through page 9. And we've got an overview of the 5-year management plan on page 10. So let me put it this way. Do we have any comments or considerations up to and including page 10? Enter that. All right, and then from
I do.
there, sorry.
I do.
Yes.
So I think it's best if I start with one of the most hierarchy ones, is the lack of transparency in the document. I've commented on this, and my comments have been formally accepted for the last 2 years now on this issue. It's a lack of transparency. There's several ways that happens throughout this plan. But this is a document for overseeing public lands. So that means that Alaska Statute Title 44.62, which is the Alaska Administration Procedure Act. This document should be presented to us in a red line, green line document. I shouldn't have to sit here and print and go line for line, trying to figure out what they've omitted, what they've changed. That is a blatant transparency issue that I have with this plan. And, we've talked about it, Brianna's brought it up before. Why, that's just general ethics, even at the municipal level. And that should be provided to all of us, and it should be, and so that starts a lot of some of the issues that we have as a community, I believe, with this plan. It comes down to.
Can I stop you 1 second right there?
Yeah.
So it sounds like that amounts to a recommendation for a red line version.
Yeah, they should provide us a red line version of the document.
And if I may, Brianna, I believe you've spoken to this before too, right?
I did at 1 or 2 meetings ago. I felt like I was confused, and if I misremembered the fact that a draft that we had seen in the past had red lines in it, or not lines, but red text, and the very first or second page does, but that's it. And then someone else said, oh, well, this is the draft, so the edited version after we submit comments comes out with some red. But I don't know if I misremembered, but it was weird to have it all be in black text to me when I first saw it.
And so what I'm hearing is an argument that that it would be helpful to us, given the importance of the HLB land in our community, to have a red line version even within the draft.
Absolutely.
Or at any rate, that is an item that we could add for potential discussion at the GBOS meeting. Is that right, Brianna?
Yes, we could say it as a blanket statement before we have our grid comments.
Right. Which we've done before. We've had kind of general overview comments.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Nope.
Did you have anything you wanted to add?
I would say that, in my previous experience working with documents, land use documents with the state of Alaska, every year a operating plan was put in place at the ski area with DNR, and it was presented to DNR as a red line. They returned it back and accepted or declined anything that we changed, and then the document was agreed on.
Correct.
it
It's
is,
just a transparency act, right? So if they're going to remove a map, you know, the map we highlighted in red, like this is going to be omitted. If they changed a word, shall, but, and,
Sure.
you know, that's changed, you know, because sometimes those little words do have significant meaning.
Yeah.
It's a policy document.
Sure, and we've done that with pages and whatnot.
And it is required. It is Alaska state law. It's Alaska statute 44.62. It's called the Alaska Administrative Procedure Act, and it requires agencies to show proposed changes in policy documents.
Okay,
And there's a specific format underneath that code as well.
right. I might get into that later, but anyway, how does that sound? One thing at least. Okay, and next,
So the next thing that I want to talk about,
just to check, are we still in the first 10 pages?
yes,
Okay,
yeah. So a lot of what in here, and I've mentioned this in several other meetings, is that their objectives, and their objectives in this plan actually state under here is that their management activities and decisions take into consideration the regulatory environment and adopted comprehensive plans, special site and area land use studies, environmental plans and studies, and intergovernment agreements. Wait, hold on, is that sorry, that's not the state I was looking for. States under there, managing and improving HLB land. And then, so it's blatantly stated as an objective, but they don't even have the levy mentioned in the entire plan. It is an HLB federally built levy in the national database. And this also comes down to this whole plan should show how they meet their objectives, and they're not. So yeah.
Sorry, can I back up one section? So when you're talking about the land management objectives, you're talking about page 7.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And is there a particular bullet point that you are speaking to?
Yes.
Or are you speaking to a missing bullet?
No, third line down under the Heritage Land Bank Fund, it says managing and improving HLB land. And so here they are, they're selling all of our lands for less than fair market value. Otherwise, our public utilities would be updated. And they actually own some of this stuff, this levy. And there's no transparency with this entire document, even mentioning that they have governance over federal public infrastructure.
Okay, so I don't actually see, sorry, let me be on it first.
Go up one, sorry.
Thank
There you
you,
go.
Amanda. I have a question for you and the board. For that one sentence, would you like it to be suggested that land is not used, but land and a blank that describes the levy? Because it's a infrastructure item.
I think that how this should be presented is that within this plan, according to this land bank objective, managing and improving HLB land, managing their public utilities within our valley is completely legitimate and should be highlighted somewhere within this policy document.
So I hear what Brianna is asking. I mean, she's basically asking like, what is that? What is the edit that we could make here to make that more?
I don't think that the edit is necessarily here, but this is just an objective for the entire plan. And it's not, the edit should actually be somewhere else within the document. And to be honest, I don't know exactly at what point they should probably put that in here. Probably the very beginning.
Can I boil this down to, you would like to see attention to maintenance of the levy?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have any discussion from the board on that?
I think it's good to simmer on the word, I like the word utility, if that would meet the definition of a levy, but I don't know with any confidence that that's the only utility they own in our valley or other utilities in Anchorage. So maybe stating the actual levy would be good too.
They do have jurisdiction over waters, and all waters are, is considered a utility. So it's kind of a broad spectrum, but it's all the waters within the community.
So I think what I'm hearing from Brianna is a suggestion, or Brianna, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is possible that we could put a proposed edit, managing and improving HLB land and utilities, including the Girdwood levy.
Sure, or land and or its utilities, if Amanda's saying that they own it, which I know we've talked about this a lot, but to have someone.
The
the
Army Corps of
proof that-
Engineers has them listed as the owner on the National Database.
Okay.
HLB is listed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I think we have a potential place, or at least something that we can discuss as a board. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that conversation? Okay. And then moving on.
Yes, moving on. That's kind of my first ones for that front intro.
Okay. All right, so now I'd like to look at moving on from page, if we don't have anything else from pages up to page 10, to and including page 10, then we get to disposals, exchanges, and transfers. And the first one of those that affects Girdwood is the Winter Creek Trail Extension. So we're at the bottom of page 11, HLB parcel 6-075. Are we good with, and then immediately below that is Bikewood. So I want to check here if there is anything we want to add or change here. Look to you, Brett.
First, if I could just take a step back, while so much of this plan impacts Girdwood, we don't have any collaboration with any of the other community councils that are also being impacted on this. So we don't have the ability to know what's happening in North Anchorage or around some of these other sites. It would be interesting to kind of hear progress on some of these other items that we don't know, for instance, at Lake Otis and Tudor, and hear what they have to say about their, and again, if this was a red line document, we would see comments coming from other communities, and we wouldn't be operating in this vacuum that is Girdwood. And so, but anyway,
Actually, one thing about that, it wouldn't necessarily include the comments from other communities. It would just include what they're changing for other communities.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's what red line would give us. For all we know, we're the only community community council looking over this document and providing comment as a community council.
I think Rabbit Creek is
Yeah.
Rabbit Creek is pretty active, which
Yep.
yeah, and this is where it gets tricky too, because we can submit comments all you want, but until it's a substantive comment, they cannot be formally accepted. And so they literally can go, so what HLB, just because it's submitted to them, that does not mean it gets put and published into this document. So they reject out a lot of things, right? And so sometimes we don't even, you're absolutely right, we have no idea who's truly commenting, because it doesn't mean that their comment was formally submitted, and that's the only way we would ever know.
Okay, so now are we ready to return to the Winter Creek?
Sorry to cut
No,
it off on
no.
that.
No, all good, all good. It is a work session. We're
And so the Winter Creek Extension Trail project seems to be coming along fine, to plans. And in conversations with Bikewood, I have heard no conflicts and no issues with this the Bikewood trails going in the Nordic Loop area.
Okay, so we don't have anything we want to change about this section right here?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have one question.
yes.
Which parcel is that one that got snuck in on our, on the comprehensive plan at the last very end? And will that affect any of these? I don't know exactly where it's
Coming down to the, so it's not on this part, but all the parcels are all included in this work plan. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but I'm sure.
Well, the one that came through at the very, so when we passed a comprehensive plan, then the planning department put that last separate parcel that never went out for public review. It was that 77-acre parcel, right? That was kind of added in on the end.
Back over.
Yeah,
here.
that's that.
Which parcel is that within this document? Do we know?
I know it from the map.
I think the map is further down.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose.
Is that 6-010 that you're talking about, the one that's behind like the Durams and all that? Like that giant.
That It's whatever got,
It's 77 acres, that's
yeah,
-010.
yeah. What is it? 0.
6-010. But tell you what, let's stay on track, and when we get to it, we'll know 6-010.
Already taken us off a little.
No, that's okay. You can bring the map, that's fine. I'm gonna look for the next thing under
Do you want to point out where that is?
6-, yeah. If it's 77 acres, it's, see that giant kind of trapezoidal corner thing right up at the top, 6-010. It runs all along from our perspective here, the left side of Alyeska Highway. It's actually a little bit back behind the first row of
All along the
properties.
Beaver Pond Trail.
Yes,
It's huge.
it is huge.
Sorry, it was the one staring me straight in the face.
No, it's all good.
So right there.
Okay,
Okay. So going back up to the page,
okay. Let's go we're now on page 12, we're under projects, the Urban Industrial Park, HLB parcel 6-057F. I'm going to start with Kyle on this. Is there anything that you would like or would help the service area to say about this?
No, I think it's in full motion and it's going the direction we need it to at this point. So they're fully engaged with it, so it's working.
I mean, we could offer a thank you for the progress on the Girdwood Industrial Park. They have been, I think, flexible and negotiating on this. And so I would consider a general thank you for their work with the community on Girdwood Industrial Park, because what we ended up negotiating was not one of the original things from their options. So, okay.
I agree with that. And general, just say the word support if we want to keep it real brief on the Girdwood Industrial Park comment.
Thank you, Brianna. All right, that comes down to Holton Hills. Parcel 6-011, 6-016, 6-017. This has the history of the approval. And as it mentions, there's more in the farther on, but I don't know. Actually, let me put it this way. Do we have anybody in the room who wants to say anything here?
My only request is I wish that they would tell us which parcels had been actually transferred to them. They did that in the previous year's plan. They actually said that only phase 1 had been transferred, and this one is just very ambiguous. I would like to see like phase 2, because phase 2 and phase 3 technically have not been transferred.
That's right. It's, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 6-011 work has to be done first before the disposal of 6-016. Is that correct? Are we correct on that, Connie?
Well, there are two tracks and both of those have been corrected to the CY investment.
Oh, okay.
The third track.
It's the third.
Is contingent upon successful financial contributions from phase 1.
That's what I was getting wrong. I apologize.
I wish they would kind of update that little section to reflect more of the terminology that they used last year, which was, kind of telling the community where it's actually at.
So that is something that we can consider as comment, clarity on the parcels disposed and pending for that. Anything else?
I wonder if this is an appropriate spot to note trail locations and trail easements through the proposed development, and getting these memorialized, if you will, working with the developer to survey, working with C1 Investments to survey alignments and come up with plans for rerouting of the trail.
And that was going to be my point from Parks and Rec, is also funding the reroutes of those trails, determining the funds for reconstruction of rerouting sections of trails that conflict with the development tracks.
Hey, Brianna.
Thank you both, Kyle and Brian. I just tried to scroll up and down on my page because projects right now is talking about their progress report, things that are either happening now or already done in 2025. So yes, the two that just spoke did a walkthrough for easement and an alignment for Iditarod, so it could be edited there, but they do mention, and we could edit more for the next year plan, 2026,
Good point.
for
Good
these
point.
parcels.
Yeah,
All right, thank you. Let's
Same with
kinda-
Bikewood, like it's stuff that we should edit if it's wrong. Anyway, that's it.
No, that's great, Brianna. Let's hold on to the comments and thoughts then for down farther. So that gets us through page 12 of land management. I don't see anything on 13. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So I have a question on the land management one. Why can't Girdwood get some of these wildland fire fuel reduction areas back from HLB? You know, if they're giving some of that to, you know, let's help Crow Creek. You know, we've got major significant fire hazard in this valley.
So-
I'd like to see Girdwood, like, why is, to me, it looks like they're helping a lot of other people, but they're not helping us.
All right, correct me if I'm wrong, Brianna, but I think that that's going to come up during our discussion of the CWPP.
It will, and this is still talking about 2025. So
Right.
they didn't
Okay.
do any, they
Yeah.
did sort of participate in the chipping on the power line easements this year. But they didn't do a fuel break in Girdwood this year. And that's what this is saying, I think.
Right, perfect. And to Brianna's point, so page 12, 13, there we are, and 14, we have basically historical summaries here. The 2026 work program notes start on 15. So unless we have anything else to say, I'd like to move on to page 15.
can I add one comment
Yes.
on land management? I
Yeah.
think that in addition to what they have accomplished, I think that it wouldn't be a bad idea to note what they have not accomplished. They have not accomplished any inspections on levees or any progress on identifying levees. This is part of land management. And while we're looking at everything that they have done, I think that it wouldn't hurt to mention this is something that has not been done.
Right, so you notice a lack of progress on, how did you put that?
I'm going to defer to Amanda's expertise, but I would say that there have not been inspections on the infrastructure in place.
The maintenance and lack
I'm gonna
of
call it-
inspections.
I'm going to call them inspection and maintenance.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, that's a great idea to put that in the grid. So then we'll
Just-
need to,
realize it.
Yeah, absolutely.
what was remiss in 25. And if Brian or Kyle wants to go back to the Iditarod example in Holton Hills, that would be the part to say it perhaps, because 2025 was the start of that, even though it says in 26 that more trail work will happen.
All right, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so now are we good moving on to page 15 for, we're looking at potential disposals, exchanges, and transfers. And the first one there at the bottom of page, the first one particular to us is the Middle Iditarod Trail, that parcel. I guess, again, I would start with Kyle and say, and ask if there's any language here, if you have any comments about this section.
On the Middle Iditarod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what we already agreed to, right? How about our trail people? Do you have any comments on this?
No.
Maybe it should just be a quick, small line about determining funding source for realignments, trail realignments and easements.
That would be the place to put it.
Yep.
That would be the place to put it. Okay. So that's at the bottom of page 15. Okay. Thank you.
What about trail improvements? Because that'll be needed too. Is it just the realignment that we're working on?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Determination of funding for trail rerouting and improvement. We could just add that word.
Well, this starts off the improvements to the Iditarod National Historic Trail began in 20 and work on the trail is consistent with the trails plan. So I don't know if you want to are you saying to enhance that, to say that?
I think you seem to include that in the question about funding. Is that correct?
Including it as the question about funding and just figuring that more use is going to require that the trail be brought up to a different standard within this area.
That makes sense.
Okay.
All right, we have not had a lot of discussion about the next one, 6-014, except it has been discussed over the years, I think repeatedly, right? This is an old one. I don't know if we have any.
I just had a flash from last year. We could repeat our comment from last year on this. That was from Brian. Do you remember what it was, Brian?
I'm sorry.
Do you remember our comment from last year on this parcel 6-014? It'd be easy to look up. We can take a look at that.
Here.
It's
Anyway.
anyway.
There's nothing.
They have received requests from us, so I guess the question is, where do they stand on responding to that request?
That shows a 5-year plan.
Okay, let's take a look at that. Danish Trail. 6-036, 6-1. All right, support. All right, so we want to put a comment particularly saying we support that, right?
Yes. And 'cause it's in the trails plan and.
Okay. Same thing with Lower Virgin Creek.
Yes, as long as Kyle agrees and the board agrees.
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember 6-074. We had talked about that, but I don't know that we have anything to say about that one, the Alaska Railroad Corridor.
Did I add something?
Right
I
there.
would like to see that we developed a trail. It'd be great if we connected Old Girdwood, or at least connect it to the trail that wraps us around, the, whatever they put in so people aren't walking across the railroad tracks. So just make sure that, I don't know what you want to call that little section of the, but.
That's been an ongoing discussion.
Yeah.
Because what are they going to do? Just.
Yeah, that one is.
That one's problematic. Anyway, because that one goes onto railroad land, not HLB.
Correct.
And we haven't wanted to draw attention.
So that's why, yeah, absolutely. They're well informed. That's who I started with 3 years ago. No, I just want to see that. It's not that it has to cross railroad tracks, but I would like to see that trail when they push it through to connect it so it goes up the hill somehow, right? Like up the hill and jumps onto the bike path, somehow connects to the bike path so that people can, it's not just a T into the railroad.
I think that one I'd like to see that its way through trails and come through as a proposal. Okay, so moving on to 6-076 South Town Site. As it explains in this, CLT has an application in. From Mike's comments on this, it says, and I would agree with this, he wants to add consistent with the Girdwood South Town Site Area Master Plan and the Girdwood Comprehensive Plan. It's adds language to that.
If I could chime in,
Sure.
and I know Crystal's online, but I thought when I read it a couple times, it was strange that they cited the year for the request for information, but not any other years if they're trying to be really thorough and explicit with dates. But I would encourage granting a long-term lease to GCLT if we wanted to write that.
Okay, and let me just back up 1 second. Do we have anyone with comments about Mike's proposed addition? Okay, and then backing up, you don't disagree either, right, Brianna?
Sorry, correct.
Okay, and then returning back to your point, Crystal, I think, Crystal, you know what, and I should have, I'm sorry, I should have brought you out. I knew you were talking to this point, but I should have asked you earlier. However, you are including the historical thing that you forwarded to me, is that correct?
Yeah, I've submitted my comments on 6-076, which included a summary of what was the result of the RFI, as well as kind of decisions that came out of Little Bear's Playhouse moving forward on the site that it's at instead of Southtown site due to flooding concerns. And so that information has been forwarded to the HLB staff, and I'm hoping that will also be moving forward to the commissioners as well. I think it's important context for them to understand about that land, that it's something that needs further investigation, study, possible mitigation, and would appreciate any support for encouraging the long-term lease. And I've kind of passed along to HLB that we're not interested in putting a bunch of money into it until there's site control. So that is a big component into not spending money there until we know for sure that something else might happen to it. Thanks.
Right, well, that's true for both 6-076 and 6-134, right?
To add to that too, so to date, HLB has only ever completed one land use study. That's this plan right here, the Crow Creek Neighborhood Land Use Plan, okay? It's completed in 2006. In order for HLB to dispose of any land, they have to have this land use plan. Well, even though this one is not compliant, yes, they did complete one. They have never completed one for South Town site, hence why there's these major flooding issues. And as you can see, here's the study boundary. It doesn't even go to Alyeska Highway. I mean, you can see it right here. So HLB must complete a land use study before South Town site has any further process, before it goes anywhere further into the disposal process.
I have a question about this, and also, Crystal, I have another question for you. I'm not clear on whether or not this proposed language from Mike also includes the parks plan that we're working on right now, but wouldn't the South Town site is part of our potential parks plan discussion, right?
Correct.
So I would like to see that added in as well. And I know that that's frustrating for people who've been working on this parcel, but I'd really like to see a community vision for South Town site before we start kind of picking away at what's there. Crystal, the question I wanted to ask is that something that you would want to ask for, the land use study that is proposing?
I don't think it would hurt to have that information for planning purposes. So I would not be opposed to HLB conducting one. I think it'd be rather helpful to have that information to know what should or should not happen on that land. So in general, I'm in support of that. And I also did comment in writing that GCLT's intentions would be to create a plan that is not in conflict with the parks plan. So we're gonna see that in a month's time, see what the draft is anyway.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know you've reiterated that numerous times. I would still like to see us mention a park plan as part of our comments so that HLB is clear that that's part of our overall vision for the area. So if that is everything on South Town site, that's actually, beg your pardon. For 6-134, I'm going to say that we're done with 6-076 unless anyone else has anything to add. We're moving on to the next South Town site parcel. Mike's comment about this is a question if the request for transfer is dependent on the findings and adoption of the Girdwood Park plan. That's another one where I would think the answer would be yes, but Brianna, did you have something to add on that?
Oh, well, I had a thought, and that was to check. I have a note here to check with Kyle on that statement, but then that was before I heard Mike's question. And this is regarding 2026. So these comments, the parks plan won't be finished in 26, but it's underway. And, oh, what else was I going to say about that? Just to encourage HLB to transfer that parcel to Parks and Rec.
Yes.
I think the thing that's missing here, and I did email Emma when this originally came out, but it would be good to reiterate it, that the GBOS has already sent a resolution for it. It sounds like it's more in play than it actually is.
You're correct.
So anyway, I think clarifying the language there, that they're not waiting for that action. I'm not sure if what they are waiting for is the parks plan or what, but.
Do you know what? That's absolutely right, because I think regardless, we want it in our parks portfolio, regardless of whether or not RV park ends up being viable. Am I summing that up correctly, Kyle?
Correct. I think they can start the evaluation process right away. And then that way, it can help also with the development of the park plan. If they find for some reason it doesn't evaluate out to be parkland, then that should be reflected in the park plan.
Okay, so we definitely want to add those comments here, unless anybody on the board, Brian or Brianna, if you guys disagree.
No, that sounds great. And adding if we need to reference our resolution in the comment for that parcel.
That's a good idea.
Which was resolution 2025-08.
So, right. So in fact, that actually answers Mike's question. We've already requested that transfer. I think the question points to the ultimate usage of the land, but we've already requested the transfer into our parks. Okay.
Can I ask for an edit on that? I would like to see that sentence where it says determine the consistency with the approved Girdwood Southtown site master plan. That seems above and beyond. I mean, hopefully this transfer goes on, whether there's an approved Girdwood Southtown site master plan, right? I mean, it's a trail. Why does it, I think it's a bit much. I mean, sure, when the time comes, if the Southtown site master plan becomes updated, then we'll say, but currently it's not. So why do we want to, I don't like, it seems like it's excessive use in reference to an improved Southtown site plan, and we don't have one. And I would like to see the transfer still go forward, whether the Southtown site plan is approved or not.
There is a master plan that's approved for Southtown site. So they're seeing it consistent with it. It's assembly approved. It was done probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's way outdated.
All right. Let's move on. The easement for Girdwood Mountain Bike Alliance, -251 and 296.
Support.
Support. Yeah. All right. Any other comments?
Anything on there, Brian, you think
No.
needs adding? Okay.
All right. In that case, I'd like to move on to page 17 under 2026 projects.
Actually, could we support the very next statement, even though they don't name any parcels? It's about utility easements. And maybe Kyle or Margaret has an idea of what they mean in that vague sentence. Should we support it?
Yeah, it seems pretty general that they're just going to work with utilities to, either maintain their easements or provide easements to the benefit of the residents. So yeah, it's kind of saying that I think they're just establishing that they work with utilities on their easements that interact with HLB lands.
Yeah. Well, for example, I thought of the Chugach working with the clearance of the power lines over the last year. And then it could essentially create networks within the Timberline area to walk or ski between cul-de-sacs and people staying off the road. And that's for the MOA in general, the residents. And that would be an easement, I thought, but, or not a gas line, but that's also a utility.
That could be a slippery slope because some easements are on private land. So the easement can't be developed, but it's still private land. So I don't know if you're talking about having them establish routes. We kind of went through that a little bit in Trails Plan too, in the sense that people didn't want to establish public corridors through green belts. And so anyways, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay,
I could,
I was curious about that statement.
thanks for bringing that up, Brianna. That is an interesting one, and it's almost to be just somewhat local centric, if you will. You know, it should say that HLB will coordinate with local community councils and may coordinate with utility providers within the MOA.
And we also got to remember here that utility easements are also our culverts, you know, here in Girdwood, and that is HLB. I think I would love to see this statement expanded to include that they have contact with Kyle on a regular basis and they assist in the funding of the Ruan culverts. I mean, it's all the same issue. It's water is a utility. It's not just gas or electric.
So Brianna, could I throw that one on you and have you work with Margaret for a proposed comment about that, if you want to add anything to that?
Yes, thank you. And
Okay.
it makes me think of what Anchorage was talking about at a meeting recently. They had lots and lots of public comments where everyone loves green belts, even if they're private. So it's just sad to see so many of us pushed into the road to get somewhere. And if it's chipped underneath or not, just working with whoever it is would be a nice statement and objective on page 16.
Okay.
I like Brian's comment. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of this meeting. And so I missed the context that Amanda was talking about before I got here. But I'm wondering if there is need for HLB to provide clarification on what they consider a utility so that we can address the culverts and say the public utilities directly and specifically. And not, because when I think about utility easements, I am thinking more like Enstar and Chugach. I understand your perspective, but if we don't clarify what we're talking about, then I'm not sure we can expect everybody else to know what the comments are related to.
Okay, so you're talking about adding a comment here, particularly, is that what you're,
Or someplace in your response, say that GBOS seeks, clarification because we do have waterways as well as public utilities, and the levies item is separate from, say, the power line. So
okay.
I don't, it's just like maybe it's a general comment that doesn't specifically tie to any of the specific parcels. I'm not sure how you would put it in there. I just think that we're kind of talking about two things here in this portion that could be clarified.
Okay, so I like that. I think the part where you might have missed is we were talking about adding it when they're talking about general maintenance of land. We were talking about adding it up there generally, but it seems like it would be worth the reinforcement right here. But again, so can you and Brianna work on wrapping that all in? Because I think we do have general agreement that we would like them to be more aware of these levies.
Culverts.
Yeah. Culverts and accepting responsibility for them. Does that sound good, Brianna?
Yes, and I like Margaret's suggestion to have it.
I do
Maybe
too.
we just do that blanket statement at the beginning of defining what utility is to them.
Also including maybe here some clarification, like just as a reminder, or I also liked your suggestion about, or the suggestion about will work with local community. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, I'd like to move on. Are we good on this? And we can go on to page 17 if no one has anything in addition. Like to move on to, on page 17, I think the first one particular to our concerns is Holton Hills again, 6-011A. And I'm going to start with Mike's comment. So first of all, starting with 11A. He's putting in a reminder about the original AO, or the one that got passed, about the multifamily lots. He's asking for clarification on this goal. I think we might want something a little more there, like clarification would be great, but also we want to make sure, and Crystal, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that we have on the record our interest in getting the lots in phase 1. Is that right? Crystal, did you have anything to add to that? Okay, she might not be on. Does anybody else have anything else to say? Specifically, we're on 6-011A.
Sorry, I had trouble finding my mic.
No, it's okay.
I think that would be great to state, GBOS's preference on what you want that's more specific.
And you would agree to wanting the 2 lots from phase 1?
I think that would be good for Girdwood.
Thank you. I think that is what was the general will of the room from what I could read when we had the joint meeting. Did you have anything you wanted to add or say about that?
No.
Okay.
I would agree with the addition of the other AO. That's what he wrote, Mike wrote, he said?
Yes, he's including, he's specifically calling out AO 2023-137.
Oh, well.
Oh, that's
okay,
in there though already.
It's already there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, he's just pointing out the requirement for the multifamily lots and asking for what's been, at least one multifamily lot, and at least one other multifamily or single family lot.
Okay, no, that's great. We should emphasize it, yeah.
Okay. And then on 11B, he's adding, thank you for the commitment to not dispose of any property in the mixed use development area until trail easements are recorded.
Yeah.
Okay. I assume we have general agreement on that. And do we have any other comments about any of the Holton Hills or this section right here? On 6-011B, that's also the glacier.
Yeah.
That Glacier Creek, sorry, I got those two confused, sorry. Do we have anything we want to add to that? The Nordic Ski Trails and Glacier Creek Village?
I think I'd thank them for the narrative because they're acknowledging all of the overlap that's confusing. And support it if the board feels good about that.
And we also have the, this is the part where we're adding the wording Mike recommended.
Great.
I don't know if I want to support this.
Yeah, that's.
I personally, I don't actually. And so, and I know we have a lot of community disagreement about development in this area. I would like to make the comments we can make within the limited amount of power that we have on this, just none. But
We could highlight that they should follow the comprehensive plan and the trails plan.
Okay.
And other adopted plans, which it says here. But it's all about the plat because it's in 2026.
Right.
So I don't know what month they're planning to do that. And the rest, it says see the 5-year plan for Glacier Creek development. So.
All right. So I guess the question is the question like, do we include a reference to the not yet completed Girdwood Trails plan?
You mean the parks plan?
Sorry, parks plan. Sorry. Yes.
That's okay.
Dizzy. Sorry.
We could, Kyle, would it help to cite the parks plan for this parcel?
We're not really looking at this for this parcel.
It's not included in the parks plan.
No.
Okay, then, fine. I like the idea, Brianna, I think you mentioned of highlighting the commitment to local plans. Is that a
Yeah, so
good
we just-
summary?
Yeah, and it says they want to start the process to replat it. So I don't know how soon they will do that in 26.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not so, I don't like at the end of it, the vague term about making reasonable progress towards trail development. I'm not quite sure that's kind of a vague statement and,
We could seek clarification on that
yeah,
statement.
you know, continues to make even just progress instead of, you know, I know it just comes down to words, but I don't want to get into trying to justify a pace that we're trying to achieve versus what their expectations may be.
Okay, so you're asking for clarification of
Reasonable
progress. Okay,
I would like to see verbiage added that they're compliant with the coastal management plan, which is the only plan that mentions Old Girdwood. And that's a site because it calls out for any upstream development from Old Girdwood to have a review. Where an area of significant, they call a special assessment area, requires special assessment area. I'd like the coastal management plan called out.
do we have any comments, further considerations? Go ahead, Brianna.
I guess I have a question for Amanda. Does that happen before a replat?
Yes. So in every
Has-
place, yes. So it's supposed to be happening, but it's not. I mean, look how many places throughout this document, it says compliant with all applicable comprehensive plans. Well, they're not reviewing them. The coastal management plan specifically says that there should be upstream assessments completed that could have any impact on Old Girdwood. They're obviously not doing them. I mean, it's verbatim language out of the coastal management plan. I even brought it.
Well, no, that's right. I think if nothing else, we could ask about it.
It isn't it? Like, why can't we just add it in there? I mean, it is Old Girdwood.
All right.
Well, and maybe that again is something that's more in the entry point of this list of things that we're going to address that have to do with the specific parcels. And maybe this is
Right.
something that's
Yeah, because that's actually over our
intro.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't want for it to just
Yeah.
apply to these parcels, right?
Right. Brianna, did you have something to add? I thought I saw you.
Oh, thank you. Nope. I was going to encourage Amanda to write that in her comments too.
Okay, yes,
Thank you.
Brian.
Could we just add, you know, at the end of the line, they list Girdwood Comprehensive Plan, Girdwood Trails Plan, and any other applicable state and federal adopted plans. Or call out state or local, state and federal plans.
The coastal management plan too is actually a municipal plan.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Can you, I like that. Can you say it one more time? Where are we looking?
in the middle, it says the paragraph.
Oh, yeah.
Looking there in the middle,
Compliant with-
and it just says any other applicable adopted plans. And just getting a little more, hey, there's a whole bunch of different adopted plans that are relevant. Some of them are federal, some of them are state, and some of them are municipal. And
Okay.
just say, hey, we're looking at all of these, and we expect you to look at them.
Like it.
I like that. Are you good with that, Brianna?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll add that to the list of potential changes. Okay. I'd like to keep us moving. So down to, well, I guess 6-011C, We need anything there?
Let's see.
Well, we could support it. If we look at the map, I have, or not say anything.
You know what? I need to take a quick look at the map then too. Hang on. 6 dash.
11C, that's the, is that the cat zone? Snow cat zone?
I don't, that's your 11C. Oh, I see. It's right there.
That's,
I think that
land?
is that,
It looks like
no,
Holton Hills. Maybe Connie knows.
she's left.
Okay. But it's a plating.
that's, and that is land that is gonna be impacted if, is that right next to Moose Meadows and the FAA land or the state of Alaska?
No, it's between Old
No, 'cause
Crow Creek
Meadows-
Road.
Moose Meadows is here. So
Hmm,
this is up by Crow Creek Road.
yeah, okay, yep, I see, yep.
In fact, am I correct? It's kind of hard to tell from this map, but it looks like it runs along Crow Creek Road.
Question out of that. So doesn't Connie's plan say that she's the one that's supposed to conduct the feasibility study? So does that kick off the access road then being pushed off to Seth Anderson rather than Connie?
Hmm.
You catch what I'm saying?
What are we saying about 6 dash?
It says institutions and parks right now is what it says for 2026. It's zoned that's what it's zoned right now. May be included in a future plating action. So they're saying it may be. So whatever plating they do,
I think
municipal could be a road or local community needs could be a park, trail, not cemetery.
Okay.
Why are they calling out this piece of land all of a sudden?
Why are they?
Yeah, exactly. And say maybe. You don't say maybe and then put it in your potentials.
Yeah,
That's contradicting.
Maybe Crystal knows.
Margaret?
Crystal, do you know anything about this?
Sorry, which one are we on right now?
6-011C, which looks like it runs along the side of Crow Creek Road to the east.
I don't
Placement
really-
on that. Sorry, Crystal, I'm just trying to help us along. So this is one that's specifically called out on the GHEC agendas. It used to be 6-016. It's a 6.5 acre parcel within Holton Hills and is now GIP.
Oh, that's right. We're trying to carve this out as parks. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's zoned. So this could, and I think what they were saying here, in the future, this could be turned into a park or something.
Okay, so we would support plating action on that because in
Correct.
order to turn it into a park, you need the plating act.
Correct.
Okay,
When it got replatted for those tracks, this got turned into Girdwood Institution of Parks.
okay, perfect. All right, so we're support.
so yeah,
All right.
Can I say something on that one? That one was also one that I recommended that AWU look at for the new well location because it's zoned GIP, which is what the other AWU station is zoned in the industrial park. And my preference would have been for it to be there instead of right on the river like they were recommending. So I don't know if GBOS is interested in making a comment about that, but I am happy that they subdivided out that section differently since GIP zoned property is not abundant.
Thank you for that. That's super helpful.
I mean, I almost think that needs to go in front of HLB AC before anything comes to us.
HLBAC, but they're usually rubber stamping what HLB is already done. Are you talking GHEC?
No, I mean, just,
The Heritage Land Bank Advisory Committee?
yeah. You know, just seeing, it just seems like it's all of a sudden come up out of nowhere.
I think like they're saying it got kind of carved off of Holton Hills. Okay,
Yeah,
anyway.
it that used to be part of the bigger, larger tracts of land for Holton Hills, and then it was zoned GIP. So that was something that I specifically advocated that they separate it out during the platting process, because the GIP is so unusual and like I said, not uncommon. So I'm glad that they did that. But what's to be done there is definitely a different question.
I think now it's at the point where HLB is not going to do much there, but if somebody, either Girdwood Parks or AWU comes along and says, hey, we want to look at this parcel because it fits within what we want to do and also fits the requirements of the zoning, then they could do that. So that's basically there for future municipal or local community use. So, so yeah, that's something that HLB is probably not going to do much with this parcel anymore. I should manage it.
Thank you for that.
Well, and again, this is still in 2026, right?
Yeah.
We're just talking over the next 12 months.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think that AWU project is not on that kind of time horizon.
And this parcel's not mentioned at all in the 5-year plan, so we could emphasize that they do it in 2026 as the plan, the work draft states.
Complete the platting action.
Yes, thank you, Margaret.
Well, it said that may be included, so it sounds like we don't, like, are we requesting then that they actually do plat it?
Oh, well. Would it be better than not to, maybe?
It's platted right now as a track, but if it gets replatted for some reason, then that's probably a time that we have to keep track on it.
So it's probably more dependent on what ends up emerging as the community needs or interests.
Correct.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't we suggest that just move into the 5-year plan instead of the 1-year plan? Hunt it down the road.
Yeah, if we have no
Yeah.
interest from our side or AWU has no interest, then
Yeah,
I like that.
what's the rush?
Mhm. Brianna, does that
Yeah.
sound good?
It does, and then it could make the 5-year plan look more substantial because it's kind of short.
Okay, all right, are we done with that, guys? Can we move on to Orca Mountain View? Oh, I don't know if I love this name. Okay, 6-39, can we, maybe I'm the only one. I just don't know if the community would have picked that name. 6-039. So this is, I know, Crystal, you've done a lot of work on this parcel. Do you have any comments about this as stated that you'd like GBOS to consider in particular?
I would say getting more specific about how you would want to see that lot used. They say options for eventual disposal of the residentially zoned tract have not yet been determined yet, but may include private-public partnerships, a competitive RFP process, or other methods compliant with AMC, blah, 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 that provide a public benefit. I mean, I definitely love the part where it says that provide a public benefit, but I think it's up to GBOS if you guys want to get more specific and specifically what already got passed in the resolution of support for a community-led development. I think emphasizing what we've already passed in a resolution would go a long way for me.
I think you're absolutely right about that. I'm not real crazy about the way they've phrased this either. It makes it, in fact, it seems to open the door to exactly what we're afraid of, that just asking for platting is going to end up making a free-for-all again and letting Anchorage decide for us what constitutes public benefit. And that worked out really well last time. So I think I really like referring back to the resolution of support, and then also particularly saying, per this resolution, GBOS has an interest in this land for this reason, right? We were specific in the platting request, if I'm not mistaken, that we were interested in it for community housing options. Is that correct, Crystal?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can strike the last 2 words, public benefit, and could either be community benefit or community housing options. But I think public benefit kind of sounds like the municipality of Anchorage. And I want to be really selfish here. I mean, really selfish. And this should specifically be a Girdwood community benefit.
Well, the only part of that I take issue with is the selfish part of things, because I think that we've pretty well established that the Girdwood economy is great for when the Girdwood economy goes well, Anchorage economy goes well, but we've really struggled with a misunderstanding at the Anchorage level about what we need within our economy, like employee housing options. Brianna, I saw your hand go up. Did you have something to add there?
Oh, I was just looking at that. It's already a long sentence, but the sentence including GBOS, LUC, and GVSA could wrap in community-led development. And then maybe the last part could say workforce housing or something like that. But I like all the ideas so far, and I think we could wordsmith it. It also potentially mention disposing the parcel to a Girdwood nonprofit, because that was mentioned at other meetings with the 8 to 10 year reversionary clause.
Can I offer an option there? I think what I'd like to see is the whole last sentence just removed, and then say what Crystal has suggested. For the resolution on such and so date, the Girdwood Board of Supervisors has requested this land be platted for the purpose of community housing, meeting community housing needs. So I would like to get rid of that whole last sentence. They're making it look a lot squishier than our perception locally of what we've asked for.
I think their language reflects what's required in code.
Oh, does it?
The steps, I guess it could be.
Well, maybe what I could at least get rid of. Well, we can just plain say options include those required by code, and GBOS has particularly asked, blah, blah.
Read something that's kind of scary that's in this Title 2540.H. The disposition of property pursuant to the subsection may be for less than fair market value or less than fair market rental rate. They'll be able to dispose it. That's what H tells.
No, we actually like that clause. We just are really struggling to get it to benefit Girdwood.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little aware of the time here. We're at 1:10, so I want to make sure we're still moving along. Are we comfortable with what we have said so far about Orca Mountain View? I
Especially
think we can
community-led development.
community-led development. I think we can wordsmith that offline. Are you good with that too, Brianna?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, excellent. All right, 6057, we already talked about this a little bit. Girdwood Industrial Park. This has, we can include, let's see, I believe from earlier on, our comment was just thank you for the negotiation and working with the community. You want anything else here? I'm going to start with Kyle.
Nope.
Okay, anybody else?
Looks good.
Okay. Moving down through and management stuff, plan studies and surveys. Do we have, let me summarize the, oops, excuse me. Do we have anything we want to comment on from page 19, or can we move into the 5-year management plan on page 20?
Isn't this where you want to write something about, I think if you scroll a little bit.
The request for the land use for the South Town site.
Oh, under plan studies and surveys? Is that what we're talking about?
I was talking about the wildfire fuels.
Oh.
Instead of just saying Anchorage Fire Department.
Oh, right. Yes. So we add in a comment right there. Brianna, do you want to speak to this?
Yes, okay, I'm off mute. I'm scrolling around.
Bottom of page 18, under land management, first thing is wildland fire.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a note for that saying to just reference citing CWPP. Because CWPP does include Girdwood.
You might add Girdwood Fire Department directly.
Yep. Yeah. Just similar to when there's an area plan or all the plans that they mention in other sentences. They just don't mention a plan here, but it's called out in the CWPP.
Okay. That sounds good. That all sounds good. Hang on one second. I need to back up real quickly. I'm sorry, I forgot that Mike had a comment from page 18 about the Girdwood Industrial Park. I think it's pertinent. He's saying that we should update this, and he's right, this paragraph, I think he's right, that we should update it to reflect the GBOS support and the plat submission. So he's right, this is a little outdated, I think. A preliminary plat will be after receiving support. I guess he's wanting to say specifically that, maybe he's wanting to specifically call out the GBOS support request, resolution of support.
And the plat has been submitted to planning.
Okay, and okay, good. All right, so that needs some update. All right. Brianna, thank you for your feedback on the fire thing. That sounds good. Does anyone have any further comment on that, or should we move on? Okay, you good? Do you have something?
Yeah, I would just like to see for the plan studies and surveys that we do the request for that land use study if they're going to move forward with the Southtown site disposal, like Crystal.
No, that's a good place to put it.
Yeah.
What you're saying? Yeah. How do we feel about that, you guys?
Fine, and I don't mean to drag something else on if it's not needed, but isn't that the watershed statement? Have we already?
No, they're
passed the
separate.
watershed?
They're
Okay,
very
okay.
different plans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
but are you,
Thought so.
okay, but are you,
I just
okay.
thought that would be a survey or a project, but I don't see it there, and I know it was somewhere, so.
I think it's a place to ask for any plan studies or surveys that we want done. So we want to make sure that that's a thorough ask. Okay.
And so where is that watershed master plan request lying now in the HLB plans?
Right now, we mentioned it earlier on, let's see, we mentioned, oh, are you asking where else it is in this? Because we only mentioned particularly the maintenance of levees, but we haven't requested, I don't see, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I don't see where we put request anywhere else for plans. So it would go here, right?
Yeah, I thought the Crystal, which parcel?
It
was
had to
that
do with
on that Crystal
Southtown
spoke
site,
about?
6134.
Oh, yeah.
And it was mentioned separately somewhere in the draft, probably higher up. I just thought it would pop up right around here, and I'm not sure where it was.
Can I get clarification that we're requesting the land use study, but is it, we don't need it for 6-134 to transfer to Parks and Rec, but we do need it for 6-076?
We should not need it for 6-134.
Okay.
Because, right.
So we're putting a higher requirement on that particular parcel.
Or were we asking for it in general?
My preference would be to ask for it, but not make it required.
On 6-039?
076. I think it'd be great
076.
if they did it, because I think it would give us more information. But I also don't want to add another hurdle to a 4-year process. So I think we ask for it, but not make it required would be what I would request.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the board about that? Okay.
Can I have one comment? I think that I know that we want to develop, you guys, but we have significant water issues in this community. And when the roads wash out and the culverts wash out, we have no money. There, we've got some issues that really need to be maintained and at least inspected. And a true remediation plan should be set forward before we just start disposing of land. Until the ruined culverts are fixed, we have major problems in this community.
So I'll tell you what, Amanda, why don't you and I meet or connect and talk about a potential draft request for this under plan studies.
Yes.
Okay. All right, moving on to 5-year management plan. Are we all good? Brianna, you're good?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think we have anything on page 20, do we? So we're moving on through 2021. And I think at the top of page 22, we get to the ski trails. Am I correct that that's the first one that's Girdwood specific?
Yeah, 22.
All
So they
right.
talk about the Glacier Creek Village again,
Yes.
Nordic ski trails.
And
All right. So I don't know that we have any, do we have anything changed on this that isn't, we didn't already talk about? We already mentioned thanking them for the narrative, following local plans, clarification of reasonable progress, clarify management and, sorry, what else did I get? Coastal management plan was in there too. Anything else? Or, I mean, you feel like, I'm sensing you have a comment, Brian.
you know, I don't know how, in 5 years, who is qualified to develop that property? I don't know that it is a, yeah, but
Yeah, they're spelling out what the
Yeah.
assembly process would do here with a disposal.
I mean, that's saying that the disposal is a foregone conclusion and foregone to a specific entity. And,
Does either one of you have a specific suggestion here?
no, I don't.
What about, would it, does it seem appropriate to say here that the Girdwood community has concerns about the development of this area?
That's, yes,
Yeah.
that seems appropriate, yes.
Strong
because-
concerns. We have strong concerns about the future development of this area.
Yeah,
Okay.
And
I
it
mean,
says it'll be compliant with the trails plan and any other applicable adopted plans.
or deny the ordinance, you know.
Okay, because the other possibility here, I mean, I kind of like the first sentence, but if we want a stronger statement, we can say development in this area faces community, I don't know, some community opposition or something. But
Well,
the
I
first
mean,
sentence is better.
you know, it's just that the community demand, the community deserves scrutiny of the process and of the developers. I mean, that's we, if it's going to be developed, it needs to be developed by the best possible entity on the planet. You know, but I don't know how to say that.
Something about the development agreement being able to have a public comment period, or I don't know.
How about thoroughly vetted by the community?
There you go.
I'll stick more formal and say compliant to Alaska state public lands notification process, which is what they're not compliant on. So let's call them out on it.
All right.
I mean, you know, or is the I mean, that's the thing is that once it's replatted, they're basically saying that that once it's replatted, the disposal process is inevitable.
That's not compliant with Title 25.
You know, that's the thing is
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have been consistently arguing that Title 25 doesn't apply. And I understand that they disagree on this.
But that's this whole plan. That's what this whole plan is, Title 25 compliance.
However, at the community meeting, wasn't Title 25.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
that's because it was already disposed of, is how they're trying to argue that. This is anything that's not been disposed of is definitely still compliant to Title 25. They're trying to argue that it's already been disposed to Connie, so those lands are no longer subjected to Title 25. this would still be subjected to Title 25.
All right, let's see if,
I just wanted to chime in and say I agree with what Amanda's saying.
all right, so,
Land before disposal, they're saying is subject to 25, but because it's already in CY Investments name, it's now subject to 21.
okay, all right, thank you for that clarification. Tell you what, maybe I'll work on wordsmithing this one with Amanda too. I've got to remember the two things we're working on. Will you remind me? So this and then the exact names of the plans, I believe, under the. All right, Brianna.
Oh, yep, you'll do great. I was just thinking it could be in the forefront, somewhere in that first, well, that's only one sentence. The very first thing is one sentence. And I know our comments are pushed off to the side, but it'd be there somewhere right after that first sentence.
Okay. All right, anything else on this? I'm not familiar with these. Let's see. Let me make sure I don't have anything from Mike either. Sorry.
Those next parcels, that's the interchange, if there is an interchange.
I've got a lot to say about this one.
Okay, wait a minute. What about, before we even get into that, what if we use a similar sentence here that the Girdwood community has strong concerns about some of the proposed highway changes from DOT?
Yeah, and you should definitely highlight the coastal management plan, especially since they had identified here that it is state tideland parcels. I love that they put that in there already. So thank you for that.
Okay.
We could cite previous resolutions.
Thank you, Brianna. That's a great idea. And cite the previous resolution about this.
And here's my other major problem with this. Where's my notification? I'm a business owner on these adjacent properties. I have not been notified once that they want to dispose of these lands. It is my business. It is this 6 of our local businesses, and none of us have been
They
notified.
haven't even started process on disposal.
Huh?
They haven't even started process on disposal.
Well,
DOT's expressed interest, but they haven't come back at all.
Yeah.
So it's been on hold now for 2 years.
And I have a proposed change on that. We can just say, not only strong concerns about, we say the sentence about strong concerns about development or about the potential highway plans. And then we can also say that we encourage DOT or close communication with businesses and GBOS for any further plans in this area or any planning in this area.
yeah,
Okay.
because I need 5 years. It's a business. It's not like,
Yeah, I remember talking about this because it affects whether or not you guys renew your leases and all kinds of things, because it does cut into because I worked with DOT a lot on this. Okay. All good?
I think
So,
I also mentioned
we
the
could-
levy in there too.
Sorry.
I feel like we've made comments on these before, like last year. So perhaps we could use language we stated last year for
Okay, good idea.
collaboration and community.
Thank
if it's there.
you. Thank you. All right. Girdwood Industrial Park, we've already talked about this several times. Anything else here that we want different or changed, Kyle?
No.
Okay. Anybody else?
Support.
Support. Okay. Yeah, all right, support. Okay, under potential acquisitions, I don't think we have anything. Oh, actually, hang on, let me just scroll back up to, sorry, on Mike. Potential acquisitions.
Does anyone have anything on 251, 295, and 296?
Yeah, that is where Mike is saying, has any progress been made towards the conveyance to MOA? As a question, sending the question.
Okay.
Do we have anything else on that?
I like asking a question, and I also was going to ask staff or any board members.
We've asked about this and it looks like it has not happened. Like they're waiting on BLM to issue a final patent to the state. So this area is recognized so far within the parks plan as future parkland. Basically, this is where the 5K is. And so, and in order for them to transfer that land, eventually they have to get those patents figured out.
Okay, so we could support it if we feel like that's a safe space for the next steps, Kyle, or?
Yeah, it should stay on their plan. But Mike's question here was, any progress been made towards Bandstand Way? And I would probably say no. But that question would be asked.
Are you saying that we don't actually need to ask that question, or that we already know the answer is no, or should we include that as a question?
I think you should include that as a question.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, in that case, I think I'd like to move on. Do you guys have anything else to add in that, or let's move through potential projects? I just want to quickly state on 1-111, the cemetery thing, you can kind of see that we've been dropped out of that. I think it sounds like at this point our plans are, or that our cemetery committee is not figured out a path forward. So we're stalled on that. I don't know that there's anything we can say about that besides boo. And the same goes for farther down, HLB parcel 6-018. Down at the bottom of the page. So.
Can I
that is
interrupt
what that-
really fast?
Sure, of course.
I think we supported the Eagle River Cemetery last year, the comment, just because they referenced Girdwood Cemetery in their 111.
Okay.
And so I just have in my notes, we could support it and support the Girdwood parcel 2, which isn't till page 24. Sorry.
No, but you're saying we can basically say actively support the comments on 1-111 and 6-018.
Yes.
Okay. Under various Girdwood Valley parcels on page 24, Mike is saying add support for the concept of a mitigation bank site in the Girdwood Valley. And that would speak to.
Yeah, and that's actually in reference to my two formal comments I've submitted the last 2 years. And so they finally did it. So thank you.
Okay. So we can actively support or put in a support for that. Any other comments so far, Brianna, up until land management for 2027 to 2023, or sorry, 2031?
No, I agreed or had support for that same thing.
Okay, perfect.
The next thing was page 25.
Okay.
That's where it says watershed.
Okay, just real quickly, Mike is saying under the 2027 to 2031, reiterating support there for a mitigation bank. I don't know if it matters or not, if we've already supported it farther up front. And then Brianna, what was your comment about page 25?
Sorry, Jennifer, you just said watershed comment. Wait, mitigation bank.
Yes, did I go too quick?
I think you're fine. I shouldn't. I think just keep going.
Okay, so just to clarify, all I was saying is that I liked Mike's idea of specifically saying that we support the creation of a mitigation bank site in the Girdwood Valley. His other suggestion was then including that again, I don't know if it matters or not, to the board under 2027 to 2031. And then I was going to move on. Does that,
Yeah,
am I moving too quick?
Nope.
Because we're doing okay. All right. And then under 25, I'll go with Mike's comment and then to hear from the rest of the board. His is under the Girdwood Valley Watershed. Thank you for recognizing the need for a Girdwood Valley Watershed Management Plan, and the GBOS looks forward to working with HLB to secure funding for this plan. And I like that comment personally, but does anyone else have any other comment about that? This is for the, directly above the picture. So we're on this comment right above the picture here.
How did Mike say that? Secure funding to secure with
GBOS looks forward to working with HLB to secure funding for this plan.
Yeah, I just want to leave it ambiguous so they realize that they're responsible.
Okay. Brianna?
I like that idea that was stated before Amanda's just last statement. And then kind of a question to everyone, because I think it was the site plan that Crystal did for Little Bears for the watershed was work that the Muni watershed did. So they started something, but do we need to say any of that? The watershed management plan is just for the whole valley, not what started in one specific area that they did for a potential Little Bears location.
Crystal,
Can I-
do you-
Yeah, can I clarify? I would say, yeah, we would love a watershed plan for the whole valley, support that. And I would say what they did in regards to Little Bears was just a pre-application meeting where the watershed department told us things about the culvert being undersized and that it should have been a bridge at California Creek. And so there was risk of what happened at Ruane ripping out Alyeska Highway and then water flooding the area that the childcare center would be in. So that was like it was just comments from the watershed department. It wasn't any formal study to my knowledge, but it was enough to scare building committee away.
Thank you, Crystal.
I have a question for everybody, and that is, do we want to say anything about Girdwood Southtown Site Master Plan? They're saying further discussion is necessary to determine if this is a priority for the Girdwood community. Do we just want to leave that as is, or do we want to say anything about that? I don't know that we have it prioritized right now. We've got to figure out the parks plan first. Right?
Yeah.
Make a comment really quick. My
Sure.
preference would be for the new area plan to overrule the Southtown Site Master Plan. The new area
Okay.
plan is much newer. There was tons of public comment that went into that. And so it's, I guess, suppose fine that they're considering both of them, but I would say that because the area plan was just completed, that it should be considered the overruling document, in my opinion.
So we could make a comment here that GBOS considers the Girdwood Comprehensive Plan the ruling document for Southtown site development pending approval of the parks plan.
Point of clarification.
I think, wait, hang on, let me just straighten that one out. Is that right, Crystal?
I think so. Did
I state that correctly?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, all right, yes.
There's a hierarchy of plans, and the Girdwood Comprehensive Plan is legally, and it is technically a policy document, and it overrides the Southtown site automatically.
Well, so.
I mean, I think it's fair to call it out that we prefer preference over it. However, legally, that already stands.
Well, absolutely, but we've discovered when we don't call these things out, we run into trouble like
Yeah.
Holden Hills, right? Where all of a sudden it felt like people were picking and choosing which plan they wanted to apply for which situations, seemed like to me. So I think that some clarification here would be useful unless the board disagrees.
Well, it seems like what should happen is that when the comprehensive plan is adopted, that they should go through and correct anything that is not in compliance with that. So maybe I think that it does sound like it's probably a priority for the Girdwood community that the plan be updated. But do you have a group that is going to update it? Because I don't think like that's not organized by HLB. So that's why they're shifting it back on the community, right?
Right. I think what we're saying is in the absence of an active committee interested in updating the Girdwood Southtown Site Master Plan right now, that maybe it's worth some clarification that the GBOS notes that the Girdwood Comprehensive Plan is the overruling document for Girdwood Southtown site.
Right, but this seems appropriate for a 5-year planning document. Like within the next 5 years, probably it will become more critical to
Oh, I see what you're
get
saying.
that going, right? Like
Is it
trying
fine?
to address where they are in their planning documents and making sure that we're following that trend.
All right, board, what do you think? Do we just leave it?
Well, I would like to suggest that we change the order on the page. First of all, Girdwood Comprehensive Plan goes to the top. And then the last sentence of the Girdwood Comprehensive Plan says that will guide management decisions on HLB land. So that is the qualification for the Girdwood South Town Site Master Plan. But just, I think a simple reordering might not hurt.
At least to be like they have ordered this historically.
It seems like it is, and I think that we should reorder it priority wise.
What if you stated something about that the Girdwood, the GCP, is hierarchy plan. How do I just had that in my head, sorry. But the Girdwood community would be interested in bringing the Girdwood South Town site into compliance with the GCP. Girdwood recognizes that the South Town site needs to be brought into compliance with the new GCP. And then that actually kind of puts a stop on them doing anything crazy with the South Town site until it's compliant, because we're admitting that it's not compliant.
I don't know, maybe. I'm just worried because we don't have community movement for updating that plan right now. So I kind of don't want to have anything hinging on that happening. I know that we have a lot of community interest in making some changes in this area and developing this in a number of ways. So I don't want to get hung up on it with South Town site master plan revision. Anyway, does the board have any further ideas on this?
I'm
Maybe
wondering what the red version would, like, what did it say last year? And then I don't have any other comments, because
I'll
I
show
feel like
you.
Mike would have a good edit since he did so much work on the comp plan. And Margaret was helpful, of course.
Okay, tell you what, I think that I would like to see it for the draft version, because we're not gonna have much editing time on Monday. Like, it just does not work to edit comments very well, and that's the whole purpose
Yeah.
behind having this. So I would like to propose the original edit that just says Girdwood recognizes, or the GBOS confirms that the GCP is the presiding document or the prevailing document for development in this area, something like that. And then if we want to tweak that, we can figure something out, but just for now, so we have some kind of draft language. Does that sound good?
Yes.
And Brianna, that Girdwood, that new thing that's all new verbiage this year. It was not in last year's plan at all.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
That's helpful.
And I agree
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, you guys, I think that brings us to the end. Does anyone, excuse me, have anything to add to that?
Can we talk about how things will go forward? Or are you?
Okay, are we on number 4, assignment of tasks?
Yeah, I think maybe, sorry.
Can I highlight 2 more things?
Sure.
One thing in particular, Appendix C is alarming to me. So 2 years ago, they posted what they call their fund projections. And it actually had a thing all the way up to 2008 projection. That then last year's plan, they removed their fund projection just down to a much more simpler, but didn't have 2004. And then now this year, they've completely taken the whole section out, and they don't even show any of their financials. As of right now, Heritage Land Bank, and from their 2023 plan, is supposed to be sitting on 8.7 million right now. And their projected is for 2028 is to be 10.1 million. And I think this is the transparency issue again. This is our lands. They fund our things. I'd like to see that information put back in Appendix C.
Okay, can you shorten that down to one sentence?
They're
Like to see
the fund balance.
Okay.
The fund balance diagrams re-included in Appendix C.
Okay. I don't think we have anybody who doesn't want those in there, do we? Okay, thank you for.
That's the same issue we've been dealing with.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
the city's so far behind on finishing their financial audits that they don't have those numbers.
Okay.
So it sounds like they're almost done with 24, or they're close to finishing out 24, and so yeah, they're just behind. That's the problem we have.
But even just behind, I think that they should give us a fund, update, at least to the year, right? And they've just completely taken it out.
I think it's worth noting, and since, as Kyle mentioned, this has been,
Yeah.
process, and I had ongoing issue with financial transparency with the city. And so it's fine to mention, like, maybe they're behind, but it would be nice to have that stated then, that the reason it's not here is because this is happening.
Said it right there.
That's what it says. Oh, sorry.
But
Let's
they're
go ahead and ask for it anyway, like, well and good, but we still want it.
Yeah. The diagrams are gone.
Diagrams are going. We want the diagrams back. Okay. I didn't mean to, I apologize. I didn't mean to like completely skip over appendix A is all maps. And so I got right through that. Appendix, and I didn't have any comments personally on the maps or anything. And then same thing with appendix B. I did not mean to skip that though. So I always have issues with, in general overview and policies, I always have issues with kind of the way they describe themselves. But I don't know that I want to get into it again. I've done it before, I've done it in the past, we get nowhere with it. Things like the HLB fund exists to receive income generated by the HLB land, and then discussions of that fund and the HLB being a self-supporting agency, which it is not. It runs off of land taxes. It's just, they don't consider it tax. But if you actually take land from a community, that's a land tax. So at any rate, moving on, does anyone have any other comments from the end of this? I wanted to get to assignment of tasks, but I don't want to miss if we have any other comments. Did you have anything else, Brianna?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I was
And
just looking at all the
Crystal?
appendices. Oh, man.
No, I didn't actually, if I'm really good into all this.
I don't have any other comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, in that case, assignment of tasks. I know that Brianna, we threw a couple your direction, and I think you're working with Crystal on something. Are we clear on that?
I'm clear on working with Margaret on
Margaret.
thing.
So I have concerns about having something produced by Monday.
All right, well, I have a question about that. So I wrote some notes, but those, of course, my version, and I'm not the official records keeper. I think we stated language on a lot of it, like we want this to say this and this to say that. There were some things that were not clear, so Amanda and I need to get in on this to the studies part, the specific land use studies, where those go. And then I'm trying to remember for Brianna and Crystal. Brianna, some of that was it the fire?
Oh, on this plan, I just said to cite the CWPP on that last
Oh, right.
five-year bit. I think.
Oh, I know. Was it under the clarity for parcels disposed and pending clarity trails easements, determination of funding for, I don't know. I'd have to listen to the recording.
Well, here's what I proposed. We
Yeah.
can download the recording and I can send it to all of the people in this meeting. I think that would be possible. I'm concerned that this afternoon is going to be short and Monday's going to be fast. And so I don't want to be the one that's holding things up. So I'm able to assist on Monday. But I think as far as the updating the grid for things, I think handle that probably over the weekend. I just don't feel like I'm in a position to be as helpful.
Yeah, we're trying to get ready for the GBOS meeting, so it takes a lot of preparation to get things together. Trying to whip this out, and we have.
Yeah, that happens to be happening for all Board of Supervisors too. Each one of us has extraordinary tasks this week, so I certainly understand. Brianna?
So
Oh,
Did you
I
have an
feel
idea?
badly that this work session's so close to the weekend and the end
Yeah,
of this
it's rough.
day and Monday. And I'm curious, in the past, Margaret, did you create the columns and the rubric kind of, and or did someone else create that and then fill in each one?
I don't think I'm sure that I didn't create a fancy grid. But, yeah.
I thought, Brianna, I thought we listed out the comments like per page, per parcel, and then it was HLB that put them into the grid.
Oh, probably.
So this works out to like just before we had was a list, like just kind of a bullet point list of page by page.
Yeah, that's fine.
Another idea would be to plan for a follow-up meeting to actually look at the final document sometime later in the week than Monday, right? And buy yourself some time.
That could be because I think HLB gave us through next week. Does anyone remember? They
21st.
The 21st.
21st.
So I feel like we're putting a crunch on ourselves by having it by the 17th. So if we share the recording and plan to have like a special meeting on the 19th-ish, I don't know. I mean, I just see that this is an unnecessary pressure to get things done that could benefit with some more time. I don't recommend going all the way to the 21st.
No.
I would like to be done with this by midweek.
Okay.
As a personal preference.
So that means doodle poll time?
Well, 3 of you are here right now.
Okay.
Look at it right now.
My availability is fairly open and easy, and one suggestion here was the 19th. I mean, we don't want the 17th. It might be nice to, I know we all have our work cut out for us, I think, just between now and Monday. So either the 18th or the 19th. Brianna, let me start with you. What's your availability?
Same, 18th or 19th. I'd like to make room for this. I appreciate the realistic comments by everyone.
Yeah.
If it's 19th, morning would be better. If it's 18th, I could make something work.
Where are you at, Brian?
So the 19th, we do have the Girdwood Parks Master Plan. We've got is it a community meeting or is it a?
No.
I think that's December.
It's December,
This is
Oh,
different.
it's December.
No,
right?
No,
he's
no.
right.
he's
There
right.
is a meeting, but it's not a public meeting.
Okay.
It's the
You would-
hearing.
Yeah, so,
Oh, okay.
and that's at 6 o'clock, so I'm good.
And there's an assembly meeting the 18th we probably shouldn't conflict with in the evening.
Correct. I was
Ideally, just do
thinking
it
of
midday.
midday meeting and I was thinking teams.
Mhm.
Kelly.
All right. Well, Brianna had mentioned, did you say morning on the 18th or morning on the 19th? What was your thing?
It was preferred both days actually, but I said if it was the 19th, the morning is better. But regarding an evening meeting on the 18th already for at least one board member. Earlier.
Okay. What about a 10 o'clock a.m. meeting? Does that work for staff?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
And for you? Okay, so I can do 10 on either morning. Does anybody have a preference then for other staff or?
I like Wednesday to get.
Wednesday, let's do Wednesday. It does give us more time. I like that too. Does that sound good, Brianna?
Yes, thank you. Yep, everyone.
Okay, so that will be a special meeting because we'll be voting on it,
So,
right?
yeah, so we only have 24 hours notice for a special meeting. So if things come together and we get the document that's needed by Monday, then we won't need to do it.
Okay, that sounds fair enough.
Okay.
I won't hold my breath.
Well, me neither, but thank you for playing this game.
Thank you, Margaret.
Great. And thank you for suggesting that we not add any more stress to, that'll also simplify the agenda for Monday.
Well, and it would allow for Kelly to potentially participate as well.
Yeah. because she's going to, well, I think she's coming back on the 16th, but she's coming in hot then.
Perhaps, yeah.
City boss meeting. Okay. So does that answer assignment of tasks?
It does, thank you.
Okay, good. All right. Are we happy?
This number.
Very happy. Okay.
Happy.
All right. Do we have any public comments?
I was going to talk about CWPP.
Oh,
which I
I'm
could
sorry.
do really
I'm
quick.
sorry. Yes. Yes. Talk
So
about
I
CWPP.
just wanted to say to the board, sorry to cut you off, that they had their public YouTube meeting on the other night, the 12th, Wednesday night, and the draft document was released the 11th, and their comment period ends the 30th. And they knew that this was not in sync with all community council schedules. So I was going to check with the board. I intend to write a letter basically reiterating Chief Weston's points on the draft because she had a chance to read it before it was released and then saw all the maps now that it's released. And just wanted your guidance on, I don't think I could have it ready for Monday, but I might be able to, like a late on the table type, simple letter that's reiterating her points. But then maybe you could take a look at it. If we have this meeting on Wednesday morning, maybe we could agree to it as a board. I just wanted your thoughts, and the plan is pretty great. It's just, she had some stuff about the map and things that just didn't quite align with, we're part of MOA, but we're unique. Same with Eagle River. That's my update.
So, Brianna, I'm hearing that, first of all, we're not sure that we can get it on, or that you can get everything like kind of written up by Monday, but also this would, I guess I don't know, I guess I don't necessarily see a problem with just adding this onto the agenda. I think we did the bulk of the HLB work today. It's going to be some wordsmithing, and hopefully the next meeting will be quick. What do you guys think of adding, Brianna, would you be amenable to adding that then to the Wednesday meeting?
Yes, and if we need to do this kind of a brief talk on Monday about it, it could be new business and then old business, so we don't mess up the process. But they say they want to hear from all parts of the muni and community councils / boards. And yeah, I'd be happy to support Chief Weston's comments formally, just on my own or with our body endorsing it.
Well, the other thing we could do is talk about it at the GBOS. We don't actually need to decide this right now. We can add this to on the GBOS agenda, if it's under, it now has been discussed, at least in a work session.
So that doesn't count though.
It does.
So you should add it as new business at the beginning of the meeting on Monday. And then if it turns out that you're ready for action at that time, you could ask for it to be moved to old business based on time sensitive.
Right, okay.
And that way
Yeah.
you're still open to potentially not having your special meeting on Wednesday.
Okay.
That's right.
All the
Thank you.
doors open.
Thank you.
I feel like I could get it worked out. So that's encouraging, and I appreciate everyone's support with that. So thank you.
All right, thank you. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip over that. I had it written it down and then skipped right over it.
It's okay.
All right, so now I believe we are completed with the agenda. Do we have any public comment? All right, move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All right, Brian's moved to adjourn. All right,
Thank you, everyone.